There she is.
Oh, I need to bend
Yeah,
down.
you can go down. It's fine.
Hi, I'm Natalie Kent. I'm here talking about my business, NK Calligraphy, and I'm on the Cherrywood Podcast.
Welcome to the Cherrywood Podcast with me, Rachel Burridge.
And the master of podcasts, Simon Burridge. Right, Natalie, hello. How are you?
Yeah, good,
So,
thank
Natalie
you.
Kent, and you are a
That was a good start. Such a long word.
You're good at drawing words.
A calligrapher.
A calligrapher. Okay, brilliant. So what we're going to talk about in this podcast, oh my goodness. This podcast is calligraphy, obviously. Can we talk a bit about the history of calligraphy? How are you with that?
What, the actual history where it comes from?
Yeah, what do you reckon?
Not too good.
Okay, so we'll go over that slightly, and then we'll talk about how you got into being a calligrapher. But before we start, how long do you think before the sign falls off the wall?
I feel like you put it up maybe like a minute or two ago, so I don't even know how long it lasts. Maybe
it's all over the place.
7 minutes.
And because you're special, I've put new tape on for you, so it might last a bit longer.
Okay, well, I don't know. I'm going to go with 7 minutes. I don't know when that is, but
Well, it's in 7 minutes' time.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right, we're going to go to our sponsors, and then we'll be back. So just off to our sponsors.
Today's sponsors are De Medici Associates, Chartered Structural and Civil Engineers.
Based in the UK with a worldwide reach.
Visit their website on demediciassociates.com.
This podcast has been brought to you by Snugdubs Campervan Hire.
Roam the world, park anywhere.
That's snugdubs.co.uk. And we're back. There we go. Good, isn't it?
Yeah, that was great.
The powers of editing.
Yeah.
Right, so tell us about yourself. How did you start off with calligraphy? And you're just up the road from us as well.
Yeah, so it only took me about 15 minutes to get here. So I'm based in Waltham, just outside of Rochester.
But forgive me because I don't feel your accent is from there.
No, I actually wondered when I was driving here, thinking, I wonder how long it will take before we start talking about where I'm from.
It was instant as soon as you started talking, but then I thought I've got to hold it for the podcast.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll have nothing to talk about.
Oh, that's it, yeah. Because you're not very good at drawing anything, are you?
No, clearly not.
It's not drawing, it's...
I know, but I can't even say the word, let alone...
Oh, people sometimes call it lettering. You could call it lettering, it's a bit easier to say.
I have said it before,
lettering.
I just can't say it live, clearly.
Yeah.
Calligraphy.
But yeah, so I was born in Solihull, so hence the accent. That's South Birmingham for people who don't know that. But Solihull was quite a posh area, so that's why I like to say that. But I was actually born there.
Do you introduce yourself and say where you're from straight away?
No, I usually wait to see how long it takes because I think, when I'm talking a lot and, laughing and feeling quite enthusiastic, that's when my accent, I guess, comes out a bit more. Right. And sometimes it used to annoy me. I was like, I've got to explain it again. But actually, it's an interesting thing. It makes, me interesting.
So what did you do wrong to end up down
I was just going to put it, why did you move down? Not what did you do wrong?
Yeah. No, I actually went to university. So 18 was like, what am I going to study? And decided to move down to Kent. I came down on the train from London and it was a bright, beautiful blue day, a bit like today, to be honest. And I loved it. I went to University of Kent in Canterbury.
Rachel, I think.
No, I didn't.
Oh, right.
Not at all.
Oh no, where did you go?
I went to Maidstone. I went to the creative one in Rochester.
Yeah, the creative arts one.
Yeah, because I don't know what they call it now, but it used to be Chiad and now they've changed it to UCA or something.
Yeah, that rings a bell.
And then I went to Maidstone to do my photography degree at Maidstone. So nowhere near Canterbury at all.
No. But yeah, it was funny actually coming down here because I went to a few other universities up north area and I remember going up and it was just grey day, raining loads, and then came down to sunny
university based on the weather?
Well, maybe. I mean, the course was actually one of the top up there. So
so what did you study then?
Well, it's very, very different. I studied forensic science.
Oh, right.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was always interested in biology, psychology, and
your sister did the same, didn't she?
No, she never went down the forensic route. She did the more science-based
I think that's
stuff.
what she once upon a time wanted to be, wasn't it?
Yeah, but someone that she knows that was in forensics said if you want to get into forensics, don't do the university forensic course, do a science and then specialise in forensics when you get higher.
Yeah,
because they say they look at like the sciences more than the actual forensic degree.
That's what split me off initially, because the one up north, it was more like criminal investigation, whereas in Kent it was all biology, chemistry. You know, I'd never even done chemistry up to A level, and then I was suddenly doing it at university. So like, it's a really good course, and you've got the science sort of behind you then, depending on what you want to go into, like CSI or lab work.
Because I think a lot of it, like there was a real demand for it when all those programs came out, like, you know, Miami CSI and all that sort of thing as well. So I think there was quite a demand for it, and then people would put on this course like the ones up north that were just dedicated to that rather than the science behind it sort of thing. So but did you enjoy it though?
Yeah, it was an amazing course, and you know, I learnt so much and it exposed me, and also just that whole thing of going to university. I've been like quite a mature person anyway from a young age, but just
this is going to be rude. I'm having trouble putting an age on you because you look about 12.
Honestly, like last week, I was doing this like random work, but people were saying like, how old are you? And it's just such a nice, should we have a guess then?
I'm going to have to aim high now.
Well, obviously I can't be 12 if I've driven it.
She's got to be 18 plus.
I'm going to say 24.
Okay.
I would say 23, 24.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shall I reveal?
Go on.
28.
Oh, blimey.
She's still a baby.
I bet you get asked the idea all the time, don't you?
I do. You know what? I was in B&Q the other week and I bought some WD-40 and I got ID'd.
God, you was only going to sniff it. Whatever you do with WD.
Put it on
your knees, WD.
Yeah, it was more for my squeaky doors. Squeaky doors at home that are just... Yeah, so that was funny. So,
I'd love to get asked for ID again.
Oh, I'd love to be 28.
But no, I just see it as a total compliment because I think, definitely. As you get older, it's just going to be like, please think I'm younger than what
I used to look younger than I am, but now that's gone. Now I look like the bloke from Up. So.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I do.
I just need some balloons.
Yes, which I get from people a lot. All my mates get me balloons, walking sticks.
Yeah.
Well, Simon was 50 in August, so we made him, we got a lady to make a cake for him, and then she made biscuits with the guy from Up on. So everything was Up themed and everything like that.
Seems like you don't really get a say in this, do you?
Not at all.
I don't care. Bring it on. I give enough stick. I've got to learn.
Yeah, you've got to get it back.
Take it. You know what I mean?
So if we ever go to a fancy dress, his costume's sorted, and then our little boy's going to go as the.
I really want to do it for Halloween. If we walk the kids around for Halloween, I'm going to dress up as the bloke from Up.
Yeah.
Got the walking stick. My mate got me a proper walking stick with the tennis balls on it. We haven't said one thing about calligraphy yet.
Well,
sorry about that.
So what did you... So right, okay, it's calligraphy. Oh, is this job you do? Is it your only job? Do you have another job? Is there something on the side that runs parallel with another job that you do?
So basically, I left my full-time job in April earlier this year to go full-time calligrapher.
Brave.
So I had previously been doing another job for like almost 6 years. And
do you want to talk about a job or not?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, tell us,
yeah. So after doing like all the forensic science and all of that, I did work for a year in a lab. It was very boring and thought I can't do this. Was just like walking around a careers fair, like, what should I go into? And I saw basically I could join the police, and I was like, I didn't think of that. So in August 2018 I joined Kent Police as a police officer. So I was a police officer up until April.
On the beat in the cars and all that?
Yeah, initially, for a year or two. And again...
She's so tiny.
She's so dinky.
Yeah, people always say that. They were like, what? You're in the police, or you were in the police.
Sorry.
Oops. And... So, but then I kind of went into like an investigation role, and...
I bet they loved your reports. Written out beautifully.
Well, my handwriting is quite normal, I think.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like...
You don't practice what you preach.
No,
so in theory, calligraphy is more of an art than it is...
Yeah, I think like anyone can do it. It doesn't matter what kind of handwriting that you've got. But they always say, like you just got to have a go and then you'll find out whether you like it or not. And that's what life's about sometimes, is just having a go and seeing what, is your thing.
Yeah.
I do appreciate a good pen. You know when you've got a nice flowing pen, you're this is a pen I want for life. You know, because sometimes you don't realise how crap a pen is until you've got a good pen in your hand.
Yeah, or you really need to use it at the time it's not working. You kind of lick it and like
something just flows so beautiful. Like, oh, this is so easy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the little things in life.
It's like riding a bike with flat tyres. It's horrible. When you pump them up, you're like, oh, this is far better.
Yeah.
Same with ball.
I don't think I really get that. But each to their own.
She's too little. She's still got her stabilisers on.
Oh, no.
You can't get on a bike.
I have got a bike, a free bike that my dad gave me. And it's been
free-wheeled bike?
No. No, 2 wheels. But they're often flat, so yeah.
Well, there you go. Pump them up, see the difference.
Yeah, exactly. I need to take your advice.
Once again, we've got nowhere near calligraphy yet.
Yeah.
Kent Police.
So, you're in the police.
Yeah.
So how was that then? Was it interesting? Was it?
Yeah.
I suppose every day was different.
Yeah, every day is totally different because you don't know what you're walking into, and everything's about response. Like they do have proactive stuff, but everything's reactive really. You know, somebody calls 999, oh, we've got to respond, we've got to do this. And so, you know, I don't regret anything like doing that job. It's made me who I am today. But yeah, it was just amazing to see those different things.
Go on, mate.
I was going to say, so when, let's say you've got like a shift of, let's say a 12-hour shift.
Yeah.
How do you, like if a call comes in half an hour before you're due to leave, you still have to go on that call, right? So you must do like a lot of overtime sometimes.
Yeah, so only sort of my first year to 2 years I was responding to calls, but yeah, you know, if there's nobody else, if your other team haven't come in to kind of take over, well, you know, what can you can't just leave the public stranded if they need help.
Yeah.
So, you know, there was a lot of being off late and, you know, a lot of shifts. Our shifts usually were 10 hours, but often it could be double that. The longest shift I ever did during my career was 30 hours.
Oh, my God.
And so it's just like, you know, but you
Can I ask what that event was?
Oh, the 30-hour. That was more just sometimes they have certain operations on. So there was like a drug-related operation on, which we were dealing with. And then sometimes you go to things and you might not find anything, but then there was people there. They got arrested. There was searches. There was lots of things that kept coming on in.
You ever had to defend yourself?
Once. Well, I say once. Like people always say, like, was there ever a time that you feared for your life? And I feel actually, because of my, you know, I'm a woman, I'm small, I'm quite petite, I've always been able to use my voice and communicate. And that's what they teach you in the police. It's all about communication. But yeah, there was this one time where, no joke, there was a massive guy, 6 foot something, you know, I'm only just under 5'2". I think he was on like steroids or drugs or something, and he just come up and was like, I want to fight you. And I was just like by myself and thought,
oh my God, you were by yourself as well?
Yeah, I was by myself and I was just like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? But yeah, eventually it was sort of fine. I did use my pepper spray.
Did you? Excellent. Fighting him, it looked like a toffee apple fighting him, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I was just
Big
like,
round ball
no,
against you.
like not going to, no. But yeah, I mean, I've always found like being a woman, and they call it impact factors in the police, that just helped me kind of, you know, men might be like drunk or, you know, oh, I'm going to have a fight, and then they see me and they're like, oh.
All right, darling.
You're right, lad.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be going home?
Yeah.
Try and tell my boss. Yeah. But
so then you've done your police work. How did then calligraphy come into your life? Because obviously you didn't study at school. Was it ever a passion of yours?
Calligraphy was never a passion, but I have always been very creative and arty from a young age. I saw a picture of me that I think my mum found recently, and it's me like in the garage with one of those what are they called, like cover things on, with like an easel,
a bib,
maybe some sort of bib, but with an apron, but with all the long arms. And I'm on this easel like painting, and then like up to school, like I loved art. But so it was in 2022. No, it wasn't. It was 2020. My friend from university, she went to a calligraphy workshop up in London, and she was like, oh, it was really amazing, and you just sit down and learn how to use the calligraphy pen and write certain things. And she just said, oh, Nat, I think that you would love it. So I was like, oh, calligraphy, I've never really thought about it. I just thought it's, you know, writing like how they did in the old days. And I found a workshop up at a National Trust at Knoll Park.
Oh yeah.
Went along to that and just was there for like a few hours. And
Knoll Park, Sevenoaks, isn't it?
Yeah, the National Trust with all the deer.
Yeah,
it's lovely there.
Lovely there. Yeah.
And I kind of did it for like a few hours and just thought, wow, like I feel like this is quite natural. Like, I've got a bit of a knack for it. Like, it was the first time I had a go, so you know, it wasn't perfect, and calligraphy never is, but that's sort of where it came from. So I started it in 2020 and then was just doing it for fun. And then it got to a point where in March 2022, one of my friends from college was getting married. And she was like, oh, we want people to give things to the wedding, you know, if people have got certain talents. So I thought, oh, I wonder.
They don't want to pay for it.
No, I think, well, weddings are so expensive anyway, aren't they? And yeah, so I don't know. I might have to cut that.
No, it's not getting cut. It's not getting cut.
But I would do the same, wouldn't you?
Try me that. Just doesn't seem to work for me.
But I just said, you know, it's my first ever gig, I guess. So I was like, oh, why don't you just pay for like all the materials and I'll do it. So I just did really basic white tent cards, they're called, like the ones that just stand up like here.
So
yeah, like
a little
that.
bit
That's
like that,
a tent card.
Okay.
Just black ink like this ink here, and did it. And I was a guest at the wedding, and I remember I just said to her, I was like, oh, would you mind if I just go in and take some pictures and stuff? And she said, yeah, that's fine. I went into the marquee and just kind of stood back and was like, wow, like I've done that. Yeah. Like I was so beautifully shocked. Yeah, and proud. Yeah.
Oh,
and that's sort of where then I thought, wow, I could actually sell this. So, that's where it started from.
That must have been a big step for you to take from having, because I'm assuming you were in the police and you just stopped and just said, no, I'm going to give this my all, basically. So.
Yeah, so I did it part-time for 2 years. So, 2022 did her wedding. She just paid for like all the materials, and then just started promoting like on my Instagram that I made back in 2020, just to kind of record what I've been doing. And just had like friends of friends and people on Instagram messaging me asking for just place card orders. That's all I was doing to start off with. And but it was hard when I was in the police. Like I just felt I didn't have the time to put in, and
because you were doing like a full day's work and then have to go back and I'm assuming do that as well. So it's like two jobs running simultaneously.
Yeah, and working in the police, like it's not a normal job. Like I just was stripped of energy and all of that. And that's what I kind of got to a point. I was just sat there and I was just thinking, police officers have to do a 35-year career now to get their pension. And I just thought, right, I've done almost 6 years. That means doing like 29 years more. Do I really want to spend my one life that I have on earth doing that? And it's a great career, like for people who want to do it, like I put my hands up to them. I think it's great what they do and somebody's got to do it. But I just got to a point where I was like, no, I'm going to leave. And everyone was so shocked. So, and I just thought in order to leave, put that to the side and just give my absolute all to this.
Right, so they have to work, the police, 35 years.
We don't have to
qualify for the pension.
Yeah.
What, the maximum pension, I imagine?
Don't quote me on it.
Right.
But
well, I'm about to.
But, you could, obviously I left, but I think I can't access that till I'm 55.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course.
So it's however things work.
Oh, right. But that's with every job.
Oh, okay.
That's with every job. You've got to be 55 before you can get your pension.
Yeah. But then the standard career now, it used to be 30 years, but now it's 35.
Okay, so 50 as a policeman. I imagine that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, going back to the police.
Yeah.
Did you ever, was it mentally challenging for you at times?
Definitely.
And did they provide counselling for certain things or?
Yeah, so if you ever wanted counselling about anything, maybe that's something you've seen.
Yeah.
They offered a process. You could go and talk to somebody, but even just general like life, like trying to balance normal life and working in the police is just so mentally tough. I had some counselling at some points throughout my career because it just got to a point where I was just like,
I don't know, burnout.
Yeah, and that's how I felt. I think after I left, I didn't realise that I actually was burnt out, and it took me a few months to kind of just get back into the rhythm of, trying to focus on my business and. Very mentally
It's not a job
tough.
I'd like to do.
No, I don't think I would like it. I don't think you would like me to do it either.
No.
Yeah.
No, I've got nothing but admiration for them, really.
Yeah, it's just really tough because even like trying to have a social life, like you'd go to work and certain shifts, you might have to deal with somebody in custody and
drag on.
I wouldn't know I'd plan to go home and make my dinner, but then you'd have to stay on and, then it's affecting your food, your sleep, seeing people socially, like with your family, your friends.
It's a lot of paperwork as well, isn't it?
It's a lot of paperwork, and a lot of people who've been in the police much longer than I had at the time had seen such a difference. And
there's so much bad press about the place as well.
Yeah, it is a shame, and it's just how it is though. The police are a representation of the people, and whilst we've got bad people in the world, well, you're going to find it in the police sometimes as well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, everything's a lot of paperwork now.
Yeah.
Even engineering.
Is this a lot of paperwork?
Apart from this.
I'm joking.
But you have to cover it's basic.
Yeah.
The world is an arse covering process now.
Yeah.
You've got to have it written down, proof that what you were thinking at the time, what measures you took.
Yeah,
that's with everything.
Yeah.
As an engineer, if I was to change something, say I was to change a valve, and this valve wasn't exactly the same as the other valve that you've got to justify go through a process of saying why we changed to this valve.
Yeah.
Well, that's why a lot of police wear body-worn cameras now, isn't it? So they can, because it might be the fact that yes, they've arrested them, but it could be what they've said or what they've done, and they have to go back and report everything. And if they miss out one bit, then they've got the video footage to actually back it up and say, actually, you've done this, or in the reverse as well. It could save them.
It's the especially in America, did they shoot unnecessarily type thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it works both ways.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's all an arse covering process, and it has to be, but it's time consuming. So what you've got an old boy that's used to go and arrest someone, hand him in, and then goes back out and deals with it again. Same with an engineer who fix something, wait for something else to break, go and fix that.
Yeah.
And I was one of them. We're not used to this stuff. We are now, but everything takes 3 times longer because you've got to do the paperwork first. So for you to do something efficiently and then have to slow down 3 times is very hard when the world is usually progressing efficiently. Do you see what I mean? Things get faster. Things don't take as long to do.
They're trying to, they need to try and keep up with it. And
So the world's trying to go faster, but your process is going slower.
Yeah.
Because
it's
very hard.
Look, for the police as well, it must be sort of, you might get sort of 10 things that you need to do all at once, but then still have to go back and do the paperwork on top of those 10 things. So you've got a backup of paperwork for those 10 things that you've already done. And it's just a nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, it got to that point when I was doing investigation. Oh, that was definitely longer than 7 minutes, wasn't it?
That was good tape though.
It stayed on for a bit.
Maybe like 20 minutes, I think.
I don't know when we started, do you?
Yeah, I don't know why.
We started.
But yeah, with like investigations and that, I would literally just have so much paperwork, and that's why a lot of people were very stressed because of the amount of paperwork and things to do. Like there'll always be things to do, and you learn about that with your own business. Like it's just never ending list.
It is never ending. Not that Rachel would know, because I'm the one that has to do it all.
Shut up. It's not. That's not true. But it's you have to be like in your own business. You have to be the accountant, the actual producer of the product.
Yeah.
You have to be like the social media person.
You don't have to be.
If you're on your own, you do, right?
Well, if you're on your own, yes. But you don't have to be. You can get people to do that for you.
Yeah, but you have to work up your expenses and everything like that.
So business plan, make sure you can afford it.
Yeah. And when you're just starting off, it's tough, isn't it? Because you have to be all those things to save a bit of money. So
do you know Joe Rogan? He does the podcast. I like Joe Rogan. Hello, Joe. Not that you ever will listen to this podcast.
You might listen to this one.
His podcast team is him, one other guy, and a bloke. They send it to be video edited. That's it. And you know how successful it is.
Yeah.
And he says you've got to keep it basic. Some things don't need extra people. His podcast team is him and another guy.
What do they say? Too many cooks spoil the broth.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They do up north,
And talking of broth, I might get your presents out.
Okay, not that we've even really spoke about calligraphy much.
No, but we will do.
We got presents, right? We got presents. Oh, bless your heart. Oh, look at that.
I thought it was just the right time.
My God, my daughter is going to be so jealous now.
And I've just bought my own one that's got Natalie on it.
Oh, that's really cool.
I love that.
These are going to come out every year.
Thank you so much. I tell you what, I'm going to take those. We've got a wedding fair on Sunday, and I'm taking them.
I'll give you some of my business cards.
Thank you so much. I love that.
I bet that's hard drawing on a pumpkin now, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is difficult. It depends how the surface is sometimes. But
it's so sweet of you.
That's so cool. Thank you so much.
Just thought, whilst you're doing your podcasts over the next few weeks, you can be like, oh.
The thing is, our podcast, I'm glad we're live now. Because our podcast yours will come out in November time.
No.
I love that.
It was it's autumn season. So
I might have to jump you forward now.
Oh, no,
just
it's
to
fine.
keep it within the...
No, it's all right.
So let's talk a little bit about why you're here today.
Yeah.
So where do you get your inspiration from then?
I don't know. Well,
you have to have some creativity in it.
Yeah. So I feel like when I actually learned calligraphy, I learned this type called copper plate, which is quite traditional, a bit older, whereas now it's more like this is modern calligraphy.
Right, so, sorry, do you study different fonts, as in digital ones, or not at all?
No, I don't study digital fonts.
Okay.
No. Like I know what some are because
the names of fonts come from calligraphy. That's what I'm asking.
No, because I'm sure an actual font. I feel like copper plate is like that one that's in capital letters. Maybe I'm not sure.
Actually, I have seen copper.
Yeah,
there's definitely a copper something.
But there's a calligraphy called copper plate. But yeah, I mean, general like obviously this is like Halloween autumn season, but I just think that maybe I kind of go to, sounds a bit funny, but into like nature, for example. Like that's where I get all my ideas from. Like recently I did some place cards with like the dried oranges on and all different bits like that. And so, yeah. And also there's just so many different things out there now. Like, you've got Instagram and different reels and things like that. And so I like to see like what other people are doing, but also kind of ask myself, is this a representation of what I want to do, what I want to put out there? Is it right?
That's copper plate.
Yeah, I thought that was copper plate. It's quite a well-known font.
I don't know why it's just capitals. Is it? Can you do it smaller as well? I don't know.
No,
have you just not got caps lock on?
No, I think it is like caps. That's how it is.
I think it is.
Yeah.
There was a couple. Copper plate Gothic.
Oh, yeah.
What else we got?
So funny.
We're just copper plate.
Looking
Gothic,
at them
light. What?
Word fonts. But you've got so many different fonts out there now that...
it's unbelievable. Honestly, it's a minefield now.
Yeah. And I think that's what's nice about calligraphy. It's kind of coming back to that traditional, handmade. It's all bespoke and people love that with weddings. And so that's why in weddings it just thrives.
Because there's a lot of it from culture as well, isn't there? A lot of different cultures still use calligraphy.
Yeah. I don't actually know, but I'm sure it comes from... Is it Chinese or that sort of era where, they, were using calligraphy, from, years and years ago, like.
Oh,
years.
yeah, because the Chinese, because a lot of people still do that, don't they? We've been to a couple of kids' events where you go up. Oh, was it a school? Was it a school? When we went round Tilly's school.
Yeah.
And you said your name and they done, the kids
that's great.
learnt the alphabet.
I think that was Chinese or Japanese or one of them, wasn't it?
Like
Yeah.
So take us through like a normal sort of process. So if someone finds you online and they say, right, what do you do? So what sort of products do you
How do you sell yourself? I'm still not editing it.
Only on Instagram.
Why you looked at me after I asked that?
Well, I was just trying to like process sort of what you're saying. Sometimes my mental processing is a bit slow and
a bit filthy.
No, I got a mug before when I was training, and it was said, if my mouth doesn't say it, then my face definitely will. So I'm not very good at having a poker face. So like usually people find me online and they'll contact me. Could be any sort of method, like, phone, email. I've got like forms people can fill out on my Instagram. And then basically what I'll do is quite quickly try and set up an initial consultation with them, just because I found otherwise just like the back and forth with messaging like takes up so much time, and I just want to know, like, am I the right person for you, that sort of thing. So I'll set up a consultation with people, find out when their date is, where are they getting married, just to see am I available. And also just find out what's their sort of initial ideas, their colour schemes, what do they want? Because sometimes people could come to me with something and I'll just be honest and say, oh, that's not really my style. It's not really what I do. And otherwise you're not niching yourself down. You're just trying to be everybody's cup of tea. Yeah. So I have that initial consultation. And usually most people who find me, I think because they see my work online, we are a right fit. And then I will go from there, looking at, their colour scheme, what kind of items they want. So usually it's place cards, menus, table numbers, welcome signs. That could be handmade, or recently me and my dad made some A-board flower box frames. So I've been doing them as well. So just have people come to me and then I can put together a initial quote for them, just to see is that, what they want, and go from there really.
So how when you've got someone that says, right, okay, my wedding is, let's say, June next year, how far back do you have to almost plan for that one wedding? Because it isn't as simple as do it the night before, get it all done, dusted, send it to them or anything like that. How far back do you have to plan?
Well, I feel like I start planning when they come to me, and, like I've got somebody, for example, who's getting married May next year. We've been talking the last sort of couple of months because they wanted invitations. Right. So that was obviously something that you need to get done pretty straight away. But then, I guess I kind of just planned that everything will be done like a month before. But then sometimes I do hold out a little bit, because things like place cards, names and all of that, sometimes people change, like people drop out, then they've got replacements. So as long as the product gets to them, like at least 2 weeks, maybe even longer, then I'm happy. So I guess the planning just starts from like as soon as they contact you. But then I can kind of schedule in, like I've got another wedding coming up middle of December, which like I've ordered all the products but I haven't started that yet, because that'll be something that I'll do like beginning of November. So making sure that I'm 4 to 6 weeks sort of in front of what I need to be. But organisation can be hard sometimes, especially when you start to get more and more clients.
I can imagine. You sort of have to
I think it's lovely our clients still want calligraphy.
Yeah, I do too. And even just how like I market it, people will come to me and they might say, oh, I think I need this, this and this. But I'm very honest with people and I'll say, I'm not trying to just upsell and sell more and get people, because I know that weddings are expensive anyway, that, I feel like the average wedding now, people are spending like 20, 30K. Like on a big, on a big, wedding. So, I had somebody come to me recently, they wanted menus, but the way they want them positioned, they don't want it for every person. Then I'm just honest with them, like, well, you probably only need like 3 per table. Yeah. So, kind of just, I'm honest with people because they spend so much anyway.
Right. So so you're not just doing the calligraphy. Are you coming up with the design of the card as well? Or does they sometimes send you stuff and say, write the names on this?
They don't send me stuff to write the names on. Sometimes people might come to me with like
a style,
a picture, and they're like, I've seen this, I'd like something like this. And I'm like, okay, obviously I'm not going to copy that because that's obviously something that's out there.
Created,
yeah. But yeah, like actual place cards, I think I've got a few actually. Sort of bring some along in case, like actual place cards, like I would go and
look at that looks like it's been printed.
I would go and like source the card, source the ribbon, and then do the ink as well, and then
like it's so, the sizes are so precise, it's so annoying. Because I can barely get one word to look
it's
like
it's funny as well, you seeing it, because I think I went through a phase where I would look at my work and be like,
everyone's
not
that.
Sure if that's good enough.
There's not one video I've ever created that I'm happy with. Never.
I do
that in every wedding.
One day when you think, oh, I'm good, is when you should stop.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love the way you've just ripped that, like, without... If I did it would look rubbish. That's what annoys me.
So this is handmade. This is handmade paper, which you can make, but that would take me so long. So that's purchased like card.
So you make a pulp and dry it out.
Yeah, well, that's what they do. I don't do that.
I'll do it for you cheaper than them if you want.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll set up a business deal afterwards. Yeah.
I won't. Paper company, I won't.
No.
Trust me.
So, yeah, it's just, I did have, when I first started and I was working part-time in the police, a girl had invitations and she said, oh, could you write the names on them for me? And so I did. But then now I would steer away from that because people will buy a card and the ink might not go like that. It might run.
That was one of my questions. Like,
actually, I'm amazed the ink don't run on these.
It's very hard. I don't think I've got... It's hard on this, and you can sort of see how it looks.
But it looks so clean.
It's just like it's natural, I guess, how it goes. And that's how I start to try and view calligraphy now, that it's... what's the word?
Yeah, they're high in you.
Perfect.
Yeah, they're high in you because they don't want you. We can get this done perfectly.
Yeah,
but people don't want it. They want a sort of natural touch.
Yeah, exactly.
Personal touch. I love it.
Yeah.
And is that your style to have the little bow on the left on all of them, or do you
not on all of them? Styles? It just seems to be that's sort of what I've brought, and this is just really nice and like Christmassy, and you've got the burgundy kind of. Yeah.
Emily couldn't make the wedding, could she?
No.
No, that's why she's here. That's my middle name. No, it's not really.
It did take you a while to get that.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well, I think I have actually got some sort of like autistic ADHD tendencies. So that's probably why.
You can see in her face. She was like, what are you talking about? And then,
yeah. That's what would be so funny, me watching this back eventually, because you can see, and sometimes I forget words. Like earlier, what did I forget? Like I just
all the time.
I forget words that I've been saying for 30 years. Camera words.
Yeah, or even just general words.
Stuff like that I forget sometimes. Yeah. They're a nightmare.
I was thinking of the word apron. It's like, it's in there. I can't find it.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I'm the same. Yeah.
Because that was one of my questions, like your favourite material, because it does matter the ink that you use and the paper that you use, because like you said, it bleeds or it will run or anything like that.
Yeah. I should have bought actually some of my favourite materials, but so this is a very basic pen holder with a Nico G nib.
I thought it was a Nico G.
You've done your research.
Yeah, you saw it from a mile off, didn't you?
It looks like a Nico G nib.
Yeah. But funnily enough, this is what I learnt with, and it's...
Have a look.
Yeah, of course. So, I don't know, sometimes it's like picking out what you learn with, and...
it's your tools.
It's very strange. Is that a new thing where they...
Put it on the side?
Have it on the side like that. Like when calligraphy first... Obviously, you don't know much of the history. We've already established that.
Yeah, but this, you can do it on just a straight pen, But this is quite helpful for people who are right-handed. If you're left-handed, then they suggest to use a straight pen. I have tried a straight pen, but I just find it works better for me on an angled pen.
Right, now I'm slightly confused because that's not even got a nib on it. How do you put the nib on?
Well, you just pop it in, surely.
I don't know. I'm asking these questions and everyone wants to know.
You've got...
So it's a dippy
It's
drawing,
got like, you can't
drawing.
see obviously from that far away, but it's got like a round circle in here, and you just literally just push it in, and then you've got...
I see.
Because you pull it out to clean it.
So this, that end could even go on this pen. This pulls off. Does it?
Oh, no, not on that one.
Oh, right, sorry.
No.
Okay.
But you've got all different ones or funny sort of different angles.
I bet these aren't cheap either, are they, these type of pens?
These are, because these are just basic plastic, and I have tried other ones, but certain ones, I think the way I hold it, sometimes
stick with what you know.
You're holding it, especially in that one, it starts to kind of dig into you.
Yeah, I'm getting it now. It will fit in there, won't it? Yeah, I see. Yeah.
You're seeing through your glasses now.
I can actually, and their new prescription. So doing well, aren't they? Well, I did. But,
but sometimes like how you can hold it, I did have a nice sort of pink one with like a gold holder, and I just found it was cutting into my finger. It's just like, what's going on here? So, I mean, these are really cheap. You can get these online for a couple of quid.
Really? What about the tips?
Again, the same, a couple of quid
that's not
each.
bad then, is it?
Yeah, and buy them in bulk, and then I guess you save money. So that's my go-to pen tools.
There must be different thicknesses and different shapes of these, aren't there? For different...
So I haven't got many different ones with me, but I've got this.
It matches the size
I've got
of her,
this
doesn't
one.
It?
Yeah, dinky.
Little box.
Oh, right, okay.
So you can get all different ones, but for the style of writing that I do, I just use the Nikoji. But yeah, I might start branching out and having a go with some other styles just to see how they are. But then ink, like I always use this Higgins.
Do you always use black?
No, I don't use black.
Okay.
Emily was in pink.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Or burgundy.
I was too busy taking the mickey out of Emily.
Because she didn't turn up to the wedding.
Yeah. Well, that one, Natalie's.
Oh, right. Okay. It's in like a rosy gold type.
Yeah.
I know my stuff. That's a word I can never remember, rose gold, for some reason. It matches the bow. That's really cool.
Yeah. That's just like a standard black ink, but sometimes people use a Chinese sumi ink.
Okay.
See, I've tried that before because my dad's actually got me. When I was little, he went to China and he bought me back a set because I was very artistic as well. Yeah. And he bought me back a set, and their pens are like paintbrushes. They're really thin, and then the tip is quite hard, and you just use that as the calligraphy pen as well. But they've got completely different ink. They've got different pots that you have to put it in.
Did you get the hang of it? Was it hard?
It was hard. It was hard.
Especially with it being so thin. Like obviously those pen holders, you've got something, I guess like a normal pen to grip onto, but when it's so thin.
It was literally like a paintbrush. And then he went back again and he bought me like a range of different sizes. And it was so hard to be like, because you try and use it as a paintbrush and you think it's not a paintbrush, you have to use it as a pen almost. So
and with kids are quite heavy-handed, aren't they, kids? I used to push down hard on a pen.
I was about 16, so I wasn't really a child.
Oh, right, okay.
Still under 18.
Sorry, because when you say about, because I know you went to China very young.
No, that was
but this is your dad working,
my dad.
right?
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to show us something?
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can we still talk to you whilst you do it, or do you need like
You can talk to me. Can you move the mic? Because I don't want to break it. Move these up.
We're going to write Simon and Burridge.
Hey.
Was here.
Please fill in the blank.
Natalie was here. WOZERE.
So what do you find the biggest challenge then when you're doing work like this? What is the biggest challenge?
She's concentrating. She can't do it.
Yeah, maybe that's what the biggest challenge is, the concentration.
Because it is, isn't it? I know when you're painting and you're sitting there, like my A-level exam.
Film a bit of close-up, Rach? I can't film with my phone because it's live. I don't know if anyone's watching, but if you are, hello.
We're about to do a live calligraphy demo.
Live calligraphy. The reason I don't know if anyone's watching because the phone's all the way over there and I can't read it.
Yeah. So we can write.
See, so to get the larger, you naturally just push down a bit harder, do you? To get the larger thickness?
Yeah, so...
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it's called a flange. So when...
I knew you would laugh.
Basically... Oh, I need to...
Sorry.
I've not brought with me, there's this thing that you can put in here, which is like a metal circle, and then it means you don't have to dip as much.
Oh, right. So it's like a storage tank.
Yeah. So if you can see on here, can you see with that, it starts to open?
Yes. Yeah.
And then it kind of...
Yes.
So that's when you do practices, you do some upstrokes, which are just like that.
Yeah.
Then you do some downstrokes.
So your ups are always lines and your downs are always thicker. Sorry.
That's it.
Your ups are thin, your downs are thick.
Yeah. And so then when you start to do other shapes like a C...
Oh, God, that's so clever, though, you remembering. I know you do it for a living. But,
yeah.
But I would go thick up and thin down.
But it's the way that you hold it and that you write it sort of...
You don't even have to think about it now, do you?
Yeah. I mean, some certain words, like, you know, sometimes I get people's names on a wedding order and it's a name and you think, I've never written that before.
Right,
because it's a unique name.
Yeah.
And so it's actually, you've got to start practicing and thinking and kind of going back to your knowledge, like, okay, these are the letters, like, oh, it's a capital A, I've got to do that. And so sometimes it's just sort of going back to basics, I guess, and just thinking, oh, this is what I need to do.
But it's just amazing how your letters are so exact.
I don't think I would be able
size is exact. And you're not even doing it on the line, are you?
No.
My eyes are bad. I can't see lines.
Sometimes when I'm doing it for weddings, I've got like a laser. So then that will just give me a bit of a guide.
Yeah, it's a very good idea, like a red line going across.
And you don't have to rub it out afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. So...
were you always good at handwriting at school?
Well... I don't know what's happened with that.
This is an art, Rachel. This isn't handwriting.
I know, but
no. But I think I was. I think that my parents used to say that my handwriting was fairly neat, and like reading and stuff. I was always kind of doing that, kind of above the age that I was supposed to be. But
because I think I could possibly do this because a lot of my words I join up anyway. Through quickness more than anything. But you write in capitals, so I don't think you would be able to do
I'm all
this.
over the place.
Do you want to have a go?
Oh, am I allowed to?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I'm under pressure now.
I'm all over the place with my writing. I don't just write in capitals. It depends what mood I'm in. I might throw the odd capital in the middle of a sentence if I wanted to. I'm such a rebel.
See, how do you know, how to...
Are you right or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Okay. So when I would hold it, you kind of want to hold it, I guess, like a normal pen sort of here. And then you would start, I don't know, what we would write, like... So you want this to be angled down.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
I've got a bit of ink on me. That's what also happens. Try not to get ink then on other people's orders. But I've got a funny story actually of something that happened.
While Rachel's practicing and not talking about the podcast at all now.
So to be fair, I've had my friend's wedding earlier this year in May and haven't actually told her this. But I did all of her wedding place card order. It was a nice light blue with black ink. Yeah. And then for some reason, usually I have this place card holder, which holds them all like this in a wooden thing. For some reason, I didn't put it in that. I put it sort of elsewhere. And then I was having my dinner and I had this nice round glass, like with flowers on the table. Don't know what happened. It just rolled. Water went everywhere. Like, you know, when you drop something and it splashes miles.
Yes, yeah.
And
all over them.
It went over some of her place cards and I thought, what am I going to do? And it was the biggest panic ever. But I turned it all around. She had no idea.
Did you have to buy more?
I had to buy more card. But it's just sometimes it's funny, things like that, like accidents that happen. And then it's never happened since. So don't worry if anyone's got an order with me.
Have you ever had a material that you just cannot get on with and you've had to contact them and say, look, this material is just not good enough for calligraphy?
the supplier or the client as well. Yeah. It was really difficult initially with that handmade paper because I was so used to nice, smooth paper.
Because it's quite ridgy, so you trying to do that and write smooth, and then you've got like a big ridge. And I'm chocking, by the way.
Oh,
can I have a try?
That's so good having a go. Are you right-handed?
Yes, yeah.
It is so hard.
Oh
yeah.
Thank you.
It's because you write, and yes, I'm a little bit artistic, and I can swirl it and everything like that. But how do you?
Oh right. Okay.
So see.
That's
like that or like that?
Yeah, so how I was just showing Rachel that if you kind of want to angle it like onto the paper.
Okay.
See if
okay, do I need another dip or not?
See how you get on. Or you're half using my...
It started off well.
That was good.
Oh, look at that.
It's so hard, and to keep it straight as well. Like I tried to do Rachel, and I was going off at an angle. See, it's all the twisty and
yeah.
So you're not too bad, but you're not joining it up. So you're just writing, aren't you?
Just because it's better than yours.
Oh yeah, I should have bought like a little mini award. First and second.
Look at that terrible underline.
Oh, well done.
Thank you, Mum.
Yeah, thanks for your
input.
Audience participation. Anyone else?
It's very hard.
It's so hard.
And like I was saying about having a smooth pen, maybe I'm doing the wrong angle. That just didn't feel smooth at all. That felt like I was grinding it into the paper.
Yeah, I think it is just how you're holding it and just...
Because I found that with like fountain pens at school.
Yeah, some decent ones. Yeah, but some decent ones, you get a decent fountain pen, it feels beautiful.
Yeah, but that's completely different though, because you're not holding it at that angle to get the.
Yeah, and I know you was talking about you have a little metal bit that holds it. Can't you just get like a normal fountain pen with that type of tip on it that you can just go for a long time?
So there is a company out there which I haven't tried yet called Tom's Studio, and he actually makes pens, like even normal pens that are reusable, because obviously, we throw pens away so much and that. And it's like a dip, so you'd unscrew the pen and it's got
like a cartridge,
some sort of material in there which is really absorbent, and you just stick it in your ink, it would absorb all in, and then you'd have that. So that's the next thing I guess to have a look at. But when I'm at home and doing it sort of for orders, I would kind of be angling it, and then I've got this metal thing in here and it goes for such a long time. Otherwise it is, I guess, dip right, but it's all part of the process, and I think that's what I love.
Right, okay.
So do you do anything digitally at all?
So digital, I design like invitations and menus, but I have had a go at doing some digital calligraphy. But it's so hard. It's just
of course,
because I've got like an iPad, and then trying to do it with that, it's just so different. I think every single material is different. Like I do big welcome signs, and that I'm using pens, so that's different to this. So
it's definitely getting better, because my phone's really good at it. You can tell it. You can tell it what nib to have, and the pressure you put on it will go big. What are you laughing at?
No, like you're comparing.
What did I say that was funny?
you're comparing. I don't know what you're talking about.
My phone has a pencil.
Oh, a stylus.
A stylus.
Yeah. See, I knew that word.
Whatever.
He didn't.
And they really are starting to make it feel like.
Oh, okay. Like using a normal pen.
You can have a go afterwards.
Oh,
I'll let you have a go. Isn't that nice of me? And honestly, it's unbelievable, because like yours, as you push harder, it will go thicker.
Yeah.
So very similar.
Yeah. Sorry, was my face just like...
So patronising, unbelievable.
Because there's so many software companies out there that do this sort of thing. But again, we're going back to tradition, and
people want real ink.
Yeah. And I mean, you must prefer doing it like hand-free or freehand, whatever the word is.
Yeah, hand-free. I'd like to do hand-free. Like, can someone else just do it for me?
You now. We should chuck her off.
I forgot the word.
This is our show, Rachel. We should be chucking her off.
Yeah, Natalie featuring Simon and Rachel.
We're just playing
I'm not joking.
Yeah.
I hope you have me
You're
back
lucky
on
it's
again.
live. At least you've got some evidence.
I completely forgot what the question. Oh yeah, yes, I do prefer using a pen and a nib. I mean, I've tried other things, and I guess it's like anything. You have to be, you have to adapt and see sort of what else you need to do. But all the more while, people want this, like while there is like customer need for it, then yeah, definitely, I love that. And
because what's the weirdest thing you've been asked to calligraphy? I don't know if that's a word.
Calligrapher.
I've not really had anything too weird because
the pumpkins must have been a good one.
Yeah, I mean, they are quite difficult, and sometimes it's like the surface, like your one is a bit harder to do. And
did you use that ink? Exactly that ink?
No,
right. You
can't use that. So,
and you did the stars on them, I'm assuming, as well.
Yeah. So that I just use Posca pens.
Oh yeah, Posca pens.
Yeah, we love a good Posca.
Yeah,
my daughter loves Posca pens.
But there
is that in Posca pens though.
Yeah, so that was just annoying, the thin black one.
Annoying how good she is.
And your gold stars. But I don't know about weirdest thing. I feel because my things have mainly been just like wedding orders and that. It's not weird, but I've written on like a wooden box for somebody before, like a little garden box, like with their name. But again, with these, you can write on anything.
That's the other thing. Large font. How large do you go up? Like a wooden box, you would expect to.
Yeah, that was quite big.
Or it depends. Like
because the box was about this.
Yeah,
big.
Sometimes they put them like flip flops in them at weddings, so that has to be quite a big one.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I'm saying.
Or even like the I've done some welcome signs which are A2 size, so not too big, and that's got welcome written on it, which is quite big.
So what do you do? How are you creating that? You've got a massive pen.
Let me just get it out of my I left it like that. So funny.
It's like the same little
can you
handle.
like edit this and make it huge? Just so it's here. Like I just showed you.
It's the same handle, but the bit on the side is just like huge.
It's like this could be my Mary Poppins bag. I'll just get it out.
So are you doing the outline and then colouring it in?
So yeah, I usually do like a using either like a light pencil or like a white pencil and do sort of the lettering, and then it's called faux calligraphy when you're doing it like what should I write, like how that's written Simon. If I just wrote, that's very rough, but if that's like an S there, then I'd have to go round and then make it thick, and so that's called faux calligraphy. Okay. But yeah, doing the outline sort of how it's written and then going back over and making those bits a bit thicker. So I found that initially a bit hard because it's when you do this, well, it just does it for you. But obviously you can't get a big one of these.
Yeah.
No.
That'd be handy.
Yeah, just kind of going over it. But then that you have to be careful because these, I don't know if you've noticed, but sometimes you're writing.
Everywhere.
Yeah, sometimes just a massive blob comes out and you're like, where did that come from? I did dab it before. Or little spots like, when you're painting a wall and paint goes everywhere.
Does,
So I always have some other, like the background paint on hand that I can repaint over.
So this is going to sound a really weird question. You've just written Simon at the top on this one, and then done another S differently down here.
Yeah.
How do you swirl it? How do you decide?
What, that one there?
Yeah, like because that is a different S to the one at the top. How do you decide?
How many fonts you got?
Yeah, like
how many fonts you got in your head?
Well, that one's quite similar because it's just it starts here, comes round. And then sort of comes back round like that.
What are you talking about? It's exactly the same S.
But you can do other ones that are just sort of like that and then you make that thicker. But I just start to know now like what capital letters I like in what style. Because sometimes I do it in a different way and I think, oh, that looks awful. Like I'm sure it doesn't. But in my head, I just think, like I like to do my S's like that. Or I like to do the R's like that. But there are different styles.
Right, so this is an entrepreneur show. You're an entrepreneur.
I'm an entrepreneur.
How's business going since you've just gone with this?
Yeah, it's been growing, and I think initially I was sort of, I'm not really usually a big risk taker, and obviously leaving a full-time job was just a massive risk.
Of course.
So I just knew like, right, I'm going to give it my all, like at least for a year and see sort of what happens. And it's been building up in a good pace for me. Like, I think if I came, like, left my full-time job and had loads of orders and then trying to build everything up with the business as well, I think I would have been totally overwhelmed. So, yeah, it just keeps on coming. Like, I keep getting inquiries coming through. And so, yeah, it's steady for me, but it's all, like, I think I can do at the moment. And gradually more and more over the months that go on, like, I've had more and more orders. And yeah, I just think as long as I keep getting bookings, keep getting orders coming through, then I'm just going to keep going. So, yeah.
So what was, if you had to give one piece of advice to anyone thinking about starting out doing calligraphy, what would it be?
Don't. Surely. You're the calligraphy master.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be that. There's so many calligraphers out there, and it's really inspiring to see that there's such a good industry out there. But
do you have like a network with each other or anything like that?
There was a course I did early this year with a lady who teaches it. And so I have met lots of different people along the way, whether that's calligraphers or people in the business, like weddings, you know, like wedding fairs or shoots and that sort of thing. But yeah.
Do you have like face-offs, like street calligraphy, where you meet up in an alley and see who draws the best name?
No, I haven't thought of that. But yeah, maybe I'll go downstairs and see. We'll give everyone away. Do you want to do it tonight?
Urban calligraphy.
Yeah. But no, sorry, I'm just trying to think of some advice. I think, from looking back now, when I've looked back now at, say, that first wedding order I did 2 years ago, and I looked at it and thought, oh, I can't believe somebody wanted that. I think just have faith in yourself and your ability, because you're right in what we were saying earlier. We are our own worst critic, but it's just being open to knowing that people want it, and also asking people for advice, for feedback. That's something I always say to my customers, like, please give me some feedback, give me a review, because I just want to keep, getting better myself.
Yeah, of course.
So, and I think also just knowing, like, you've got to go out into this entrepreneur business world and look after yourself, because it's then, like, now it's me and my business, and I haven't got like a HR that I can go and be like, oh, so and so's done this, or like how it can be in businesses sometimes. So I think be careful, and also just go with your gut. Like, I get certain things come through, like from certain clients, and I'm a bit initially like, not sure about this, and often it kind of ends up going in a certain way, like, they don't want my product, or they ghost me or something, and you kind of just have to trust your intuition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you ever get like creative blocks or anything like that? Like you're mid sort of like order and you think, oh God, I'm stressing because I'm just not feeling it.
Not really. Like, I feel like the creative blocks maybe could affect me if I'm designing like a menu or invitation.
Font itself,
I feel like this is just, I can come back to this quite easily, and that, if I'm having an off day, I can just do a bit more practice, or maybe just leave it for a day. But I don't feel I have creative blocks, and I also do different styles for customers and go back to them like, right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. What do you like? What do you not like?
Okay.
And I can go back. But I mean, so far, everything that I have done, customers have just picked it out sort of straight away. They've not said like, oh, I really don't like that. Or, but if I was feeling like I had a creative block, then just spend some time outside and
get some inspiration.
Yeah, definitely. Like, that's where I feel I get most of my inspiration from, is just the natural world, and that's what I like to do in my spare time. Go for walks and spend time outside.
That's really interesting.
Do you go to that lake that's near you now that's open?
Which one? St Andrews?
Is that the one? Yeah, the really nice
light
water.
Blue. Yeah, I've been there a couple of times.
I've drive past it.
I've got a paddleboard, so I take that sometimes.
It's cold though, isn't it?
Well, it's getting cold now, but I actually sometimes go to the lake nearby called Holborough.
Right.
It's a bit quieter because I can find. I've not got kids, so going to St Andrews can be a bit loud and noisy sometimes. And like if I want to go swimming or something, then I'd go there. It's a bit quieter, but it's nice. It's,
excellent.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think
this is brilliant. So how can people find you?
So I'm currently on Instagram and Facebook. So Instagram is at nk.calligraphy. And on my Instagram, I've got like a link tree. So if you have got an inquiry about a wedding or an event, then you can fill out a form and that will come directly to me. I'm also on Facebook under NK Calligraphy. But then, on both of them, all my contact details are there, like my email, my phone number. And I have got a website coming. It's going to be nkcalligraphy.co.uk. So, that's another thing. It's like trying to manage that, like with business, trying to put that on. So, just get in touch. Like my DMs are always open. And I just love chatting to people and hearing about your order and what your event is going to be. So, just contact me.
Brilliant. Nice. Okay, so we've got a couple more things, right? We usually ask you to have pick a song. You know, we usually say it's like your first dance song, but we've got a playlist somewhere hidden.
We've got a Cherrywood Cherrywood podcast playlist. So we ask every guest to choose a song and then it goes on the playlist.
Any song you want.
Oh, I wish you would have told me beforehand because I'm rubbish with like names and all sorts.
It's alive to 3 people.
You know what? Actually, I saw this because I was driving. What's the song? It's a Lovely Day by, is it Richie somebody?
It's a lovely day. Oh, lovely day.
That's the one.
That one.
Yeah,
right,
put that on because I feel like it's a lovely day out there.
And wait, do you want to check the phone to see if anyone's actually asking any questions or anything? Just look behind it, I imagine. Not that we know what we're doing when it comes to live. Don't touch it. Just have a look. Anyone written anything? Is anyone watching? How many?
Well, I don't know. I can't. 1, 2, 3, 4 for now. Sent waves.
Oh,
so
hello.
Your cousin.
Which cousin?
Gary.
Oh, is he watching it?
Jack. We had the baby photo shoot.
Oh, right, okay.
I can't see that. I can't see the bottom one. It's gone off. But I don't think we have any questions.
Okay, any questions? That's all right.
Yeah. Or if you do have any questions, you can message me on Instagram and I'll answer your question if it is calligraphy related.
And if you want to send your own calligraphy in, we can pass it on.
Oh my goodness, should we do a bit of a competition? If somebody wants to send something in.
A Cherrywood podcast. You've got to write Cherrywood podcast in your best calligraphy.
Yeah, and then you could win a prize.
Yeah, Natalie
a one-to-one. Yeah, maybe I'll do a one-to-one
so do you think you could
workshop
teach
with
this?
you?
You think you could?
Well, that's what I want to do next, is look into teaching calligraphy and just encouraging people to have a go, because there's so many different creative things out there now. You know, like people do painting on candles and all sorts. And again, it's just a nice day out, like with your friends, with your family. You can have tea, cake, brunch, all different things and have a go at calligraphy.
Okay, so that's the competition. The competition is you write Cherrywood podcast in your best calligraphy. Doesn't have to be the same as this.
No.
Beautiful thing. And then you either take a picture of it and send it via a message, and then we get Natalie to mark them, and she'll give you her own one-to-one lesson
I'll
for
be
3 hours.
Not 3 hours.
God, can you imagine? Your hand will be so achy after that.
Yeah.
And so that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you guys for having me on.
No, thank you so much for our presence. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You want to get hold of us? We're on Cherrywood Podcast at gmail.com now. We've also got info at cherrypro.co.uk, I think. And what else have we got? Cherrywood Productions. No, cherrywwoodpro.com/podcast. You can find us on Spotify as well, which is also filmed, and YouTube, and all the other things like iTunes player and stuff like that.
Yeah. You just need a list now that comes with all
on
of
everything.
them.
So you can listen to it on everything, but you can see it on Spotify and on YouTube. I think that's all we've got to say.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Bye,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Club Awesome, for autistic children and their families, a place where everyone belongs and fun knows no age limit.